So I just watched Nirvana, the band, the show, the movie. And full disclosure, I pretty much went into this blind. Like, I know it's based off of a Canadian television series. I know the basic premise of that series, and I think it might be based on a web series. Like, the TV show might be based on a web series, not 100% on that, but I do know like enough to like know what I'm getting into, but I have not seen the show sadly. I tried to kind of look up the show before I went to go see this, but it is not on any of the totally legit streaming services I checked. So I did go into this a bit blind, but I was told that like you don't have to have seen the show in order to enjoy the movie. And I can confirm that because I've seen this movie, have not seen the show, and I really, really enjoyed it. This was definitely a very good time. I'll fully acknowledge this movie's not going to be for everyone. It's a very dumb movie, but it's dumb in the best way where it knows it's dumb and it's like we're just going to have fun with this, and they have a lot of fun here. I would say definitely the best aspect of it are the two stars, Matt Johnson and Jay McCarroll. They are both very talented. They're very funny. They're very good at what they do and playing these types of characters. Like Matt Johnson is just this totally unhinged loon in this movie, and he's a ton of fun to watch. Pretty much any of line delivery from him gets a big laugh. Jay McCarroll does a great job playing more of the straight man to the antics going on, but still having his own like crazy stuff that he does. This movie is just really funny. Like even outside of like the two main actors, there's a lot of good jokes here. A lot of the dialogue is clearly improvised. Like yes, there are a lot of jokes that come from the dialogue, but at the same time, even outside of those two, there are a lot of good jokes here. Like the trailer does reveal this, so I can say like there are a lot of jokes that revolve around either like stuff from the past or what if something different had happened in our current time period. And like those are actually a lot funnier than you would think because they don't just reference a thing, they kind of show it to its most absurd extremes. If you've seen the movie, I'm sure you'll know what I'm talking about, but I don't want to go into it too much because like I don't want to spoil the jokes because that's why you go see the movie, to see the jokes. um, I also thought it was filmed very well. Like it did a good job of seeming like just this little thing that like these two guys and their buddies filmed when I'm pretty sure it had a bit of more of a budget behind it than the show did. There are visual effects in this movie, and they're actually really good because there's no point when they look fake. Like there are points where they have to de-age and like yeah, de-age the actors, and it never looks. I don't know how they did it. I don't know if it was like they got really good lookalikes and sound alikes, or if they did use CGI. I don't know. That really did look like they were actually young versions of the characters, and they insert like the modern day versions of the characters into these different scenarios that already exist without not going into spoilers. And again, it's incredibly seamless. You would actually think this is real footage if you didn't know better. um and also like it's just really funny, a lot of the insane like things that happen. I already said that, but like, yeah, it's really funny the insane lengths this movie goes to. Like, that is kind of like this isn't a problem with the movie because like it starts out with just them trying to get a gig at this popular venue in Canada, and like it's an absurd thing they do, but like it goes from like a bit of absurdism, like well that you would get in trouble if you did that in real life, to okay that just straight up can't happen in real life. Again, trying not to go too deep into spoilers, but and like watching after the beginning where it's like a scheme to get booked at this venue and then going into the more absurd fantasy elements, I was kind of like I kind of wish like I do want to see more of them trying to get gigs at this venue, but that's from my understanding that's what the show is. So I definitely need to try and check out the show at some point, I guess. If I had any flaws, I would say there are a few points where the movie tries to get a bit more serious and introspective and talk about like the true value of friendship, even if you're not where you want to be in your life. And like those moments work fine, but whenever they crept up, I was always kind of like, get back to the comedy. You did that better. There are also random points where like they'll start bleeping out swear words, which is weird because like it's not even consistent with when it happens. It's just randomly at certain points like, oh, we got to bleep out these swear words, even though they say the exact same swear words they're bleeping out at other points in the film. I don't know. That was kind of weird. At first, I was a bit put off by how many times they like cut back to something that happened earlier in the film. Like we have to remind people that this happened. But I don't know if they added. I don't know if they started adding this in later flashbacks or if they're always there and I just didn't notice them at first. But I noticed at a certain point that each time they cut back to an earlier part of the film, they add new jokes to, that like weren't shown in the original scene, and like that always actually made me look forward to the flashbacks. Like, oh, okay, you're adding more. That's kind of cool. That's actually pretty cool. And another aspect of the movie I didn't mention before is that they use a lot of real people in the film, like in Borat. Like they actually interact with real people. Some of it you can tell is just them filming on the street and the people reacting to what's happening. Some of it I do think they like went up to them and asked them to say a certain thing, but even then, you do legit buy it's a real person. It's like just a person on the street. It doesn't feel like an actor. So yeah, that's pretty cool. That was pretty cool. I definitely appreciated that. Didn't know that was a thing they did going in. So yeah, overall, this was just a really fun time. Like, if you're not into stupid, absurd humor, you're probably not gonna get much out of this. But yeah, this was a really fun time for me, and I think if you watch the trailer and you're at all interested, then yeah, I think this might be your. I say it's at least worth a watch to go see if this is your thing too. Definitely, I would say try and see if you can see it in theaters. Try and see if you can find a showing that has a good crowd. I went to like a smaller theater that usually shows like art house films. The theater was like 3/4 of the way packed, and everyone there was having a great time. It was a great crowd that I saw this movie with. The musical score. One last quick thing to mention: the musical score, I thought was good. Like, it's funny because at first I thought they were using a lot of music from this one particular film, but at a certain point in the film, I realized, oh, the score just sounds like that film, and it does such a good job of sounding like that film. I didn't realize it was a sound alike at first. And I think that's a sign that it's actually a good score if you can't even tell it's new music. If you don't even realize it's new music at first, that's pretty cool. So yeah, definitely check this film out if it interests you at all. And I'm gonna give Nirvana the band, the show, the movie an A minus. So those are my thoughts on the film. If you've seen it, be sure to let me know what you think down in the comments below. And thank you so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe to see more reviews like this in the future. And on that note, I will see you next time. Have a great day.